Have you ever thought that Santa might have a secret hideout? And the amazing thing is that Santa could get kidnapped from that secret hideout. Isn't that interesting? Well, our story for today is based on this intriguing concept, filled with plenty of fantasy elements and lots of action-packed scenes. So, who kidnapped Santa and what is their motive? Let's find out in this story. Presenting Red One on screen from Hollywood. At the beginning of the story, we see a Christmas party where little Jack bumps into his uncle and steals a key from his pocket. After that, he opens a cupboard where all the adults in the house have kept some Christmas gifts for the children. Because the children believe that Santa Claus brought them all these gifts, and that too a day before Christmas. But Jack tells all the children that Santa and all that stuff isn't real. It's your parents who bring you the gifts. Just then, Jack's uncle arrives and scolds Jack a lot. Actually, Jack's father had left him. That's why he didn't believe in Santa Claus or anything like that. Now he grows up and becomes a cunning thief, tracker, and hacker. Later in the story, we see him arriving at a government secret data center where he sets a fire in the park outside to distract the security. After that, he stealthily sneaks inside the building and hacks some highly confidential data from the data center. Later that same evening, he sends the stolen information to an unknown buyer on the internet, earning a hefty amount of money in return. Meanwhile, at another place, we see the real Santa Claus in a mall, taking pictures with children. No one knew that this was the real Santa Claus. With him is Callum, who is Santa's head of security, meaning Santa's elf. After taking pictures, Santa and his entire security team go to a secret airport through the back gate of the mall, where Santa's ride is waiting for him. After that, along with 2 fighter planes, Santa Claus, Callum, and Santa's sleigh take off from there, soaring into the sky. Now traveling through the sky at the speed of light, they go straight from the US to the North Pole. At the North Pole, they have a secret base hidden from the outside world, because the entire place is enclosed within a dome, which we can also refer to as Santa's City. Here, we see many mystical and ancient creatures from long ago. There are very large and advanced facilities. All these people are part of Santa's team. Now, Christmas was just 2 days away and Santa was preparing herself in the gym. Just then, Callum arrives, looking quite upset. He hands his resignation to Santa. Santa, quite surprised, asks you why you are doing this. Callum says, "I used to do this kind of work for the children and I also really liked doing it. But the adults are becoming more and more strange day by day. The crime rate on Earth is increasing. No one is afraid of anything anymore. There is no goodness left anywhere in the world." Santa explains to him that if no one is afraid of anything anymore, then we need to improve them. We should believe in them. But Callum says, "If I stay among these people for a few more days, I will hate these adults even more than I already do." Hearing this, Santa asks him to stay until Christmas, and Callum reluctantly agrees. Actually, Santa had also made a list of adults, a special list in which the person who did very bad things would eventually end up. This particular list is known as the Adult Naughty List, and it seemed to be growing every single day. After a while, we see some people coming outside the dome. They proceed to damage the dome with a plasma gun, creating a hole in the structure. They go inside the place where Santa's hideout is. On the other hand, Callum had come to Santa's old house. He was reminiscing about everything when he sees some commotion in Santa's tower. He immediately tells his security team to find Santa. Everyone searches everywhere for Santa, but they can't find him anywhere. Callum runs quickly to Santa's room, where he is shocked to see that someone has kidnapped Santa from the balcony. He then jumps straight from the balcony and starts chasing the car. Callum, while chasing, goes through different rides and finally makes a big jump onto the same car. However, there was a big pole ahead, directly in his path. Because of this, he falls. After that, he takes out a small snow bike from his pocket and with the help of a device enlarges the bike and starts chasing again. He sees that there is a hole in the dome, which he promptly informs the security personnel about. Moving forward, somehow Callum manages to bring a whole snowstorm with him and ends up jamming the car. He looks inside the car, but Santa is not there. Just then, a jet flies overhead, and seeing it, he understands that this was just a distraction. Real Santa. They have been kidnapped, and then the scene shifts to the security office. They look at Director Joe on the screen. Alam informs that someone has kidnapped Santa, who created a diversion by disguising as two people. At that moment, someone tells him they received information that the data center was hacked and data about this location was accessed, and trolls are searching for that person on the internet. At that moment, trolls appear on another screen, stating that only one person could have stolen this data. And that was the world-famous hacker known as the Wolf, also known by his real name Jack, who sold this sensitive information on the dark web. The next day, Jack is sleeping when he gets a call from his ex-girlfriend, Liv, who is a doctor at a hospital. Some aging cases had come to her, so she asked him to pick up their son, Dylan. Reluctantly, Jack has to pick up Dylan. Dylan is 10 years old and lives with his mom. Jack always runs away from him. On their way back from school, they talk and bond well. By the time they got home, Liv had already arrived. Liv explains that he should visit his son more often and not ignore him. But Jack leaves without saying anything. Actually, Jack is a thief and doesn't want to set a bad example for his son, which is why he stays away from him most of the time. Anyway, when he finally gets home, he notices a lot of people following him on the staircase. Someone had also entered the house, so he fights off the people outside, captures one of them, and breaks the door to get inside. The people inside the house mistake the man for Jack and give him a kind of interest which causes him to freeze. Jack then takes down each person one by one, freezing them in the same way, but more people keep coming. So, he escapes to the building across the street from a neighbor's house. As soon as he opens the gate, what he sees right in front of him completely shocks and freezes him in place. They bring him to their office, where he notices the name Mora Organization displayed prominently. Joe explains that they are a specialized facility dedicated to protecting humans from mystical and ancient creatures. This means mystical creatures also live on Earth. Jack doesn't believe it, but then the Headless Horseman appears, who spits out eyes from his mouth. After this, the Headless Horseman leaves. Seeing it, he becomes completely terrified. Anyway, now the interrogation begins, where she tells Josh that 2 days ago, from the data center, the permission was stolen. Whom did you give it to? Just like he says, he definitely sold the information, but he doesn't know who he sold it to or who the buyer was. Now, as he is explaining all this, Callum arrives, who is quite angry. He goes straight to hit Jack, but she stops him. Callum says that this man is not right. He is at the top of Santa's list. He is a very bad person. Just then, Callum's brother, Polar Bear, arrives, who talks like a human. He picks up Jack and starts hitting him repeatedly, all the while asking for the buyer's information. Finally, Jack reveals that many times the other party does not pay Dark Vapor. So, when he exchanged the device with the information, he put a tracker on it. He can see where the client is with the tracker. She agrees and gives him back his phone. After that, Jack uses the tracker to find the man's location. The client is in a place called Aruba. Callum forcibly takes Jack with him. On the other hand, we finally see Santa, who was being held captive in a bunker. A girl comes in front of him whom Santa knew. She says that you have made this place a complete mess. You just say that people should be trusted. They will become good on their own, but because of you, the whole world has gone bad today. People need a sense of fear. That's why I will do the work that you couldn't do for so many years. Now I will punish those people, those humans who are very bad. in order to ensure that a sense of fear remains among the people, and gradually the whole world will become good. After this, she begins the process of extracting a special power from Santa's body, and Santa faints right there on the spot. She was planning to harvest this immense power in order to create a kind of weapon in which she could imprison humans. Callum and Jack arrive at a toy stall by car, where Callum collects some toys and asks Jack to get a car. Jack takes a Hot Wheels sports car, after which they go to the back door and Callum opens a door with some kind of key. But as soon as he enters, he disappears. Brother Jack doesn't understand where he disappeared to, then Callum pulls him in too. And these people come out of another toy shop in Aruba. Jack asks in surprise what happened now. What? Callum explains that those who work with Santa have the ability to come and go to any toy shop anywhere in the world at their convenience. For us, these back doors work like portals. Anyway, now he places the car that Jack brought on the ground and his own device. This makes it 3 times bigger and it turns into a sports car. Jack is completely stunned by all this magic, and then they get into the car and head to the beach. As soon as they reach the beach to find that client, they start searching for him. That's when they encounter a mafia gang. Their leader is the buyer. Now they know that the mafia is the buyer. Callum goes straight to kill him, but the mafia's men come to attack Callum. But Callum is a creature with magical powers, which allows him to grow or shrink, and with this help, he removes the 3 from his path and grabs the mafia leader by the collar and asks him, "Who did you give that information to?" Now, because Jay is the wolf who sent that information, and after finding this out, the mafia is terrified. He fearfully says, "The person I sent the information to will kill me, and if I mention their name, they will hear it." So, in an attempt to help, Callum tells him to write the name in the sand. But as soon as he writes the name, Jack quickly takes it. Upon taking the name, the girl hears it and suddenly transforms into her true form, revealing her real identity. She is a witch. And then the whole atmosphere of the beach becomes terrifying, and the witch enters the mafia's body. Callum recognizes her. She is Grella the Christmas witch. Now he wears Google. From whatever signal is received, the witch says, "I am not giving Santa back. With their help, I'm going to punish every single person who has made even the smallest mistake," which means all humans. After delivering this threat, she leaves from there. Then the mafia starts to run away because now the witch is going to kill him. But then, out of nowhere, an ice cream truck emerges from the sea. From this truck, 3 mysterious figures step out and immediately begin attacking the mafia. But Jack somehow escapes from them. Then the 3 snowmen create chaos on the beach. The mafia was hiding in one place, but a snowman finds him and freezes him. Meanwhile, Callum, while fighting, pulls out the carrot from the snowman's nose, and as soon as it comes out, the snowman dies. Meanwhile, Jack is trying to set the snowman on fire, but the snowman doesn't die from the fire. So now he runs quickly to the pool and the snowman freezes the entire pool solid. Now, because the pool is frozen, Jack gets trapped inside it. The snowman is just about to freeze Jack, but then Callum quickly pulls out his carrot and that snowman also ends up dying. After a while, Joe and his team arrive there. On the other hand, we see someone who has used Santa's magical power to create a small globe in which she plans to trap unsuspecting people. And the first person on the list, she places the globe in his car. As soon as he picks it up, some magic happens and the man disappears. Meanwhile, she checks her system to see where illegal magic is being done around the world, and she finds an address in Germany where Santa's brother lives. So, she went to meet Santa's brother. That's why now Callum and Jake both reach Germany through the shop. They arrive at a cremation ground and enter a secret doorway to the place where Santa's brother Krampus lives. Before leaving, Callum warns Jack not to touch anything there. Outside Krampus's palace, they find houses and such, but Callum manages to outsmart them. After that, they find a treasure chest filled with gold, and as usual, Jack can't resist stealing some coins. This causes a lot of horns to start honking, and some trolls come and put them both in jail. After some time has passed, they are eventually brought before Krampus, who is having a lively party with various witches and other creatures. They are all engaged in playing a game called slapboxing. Does Alam tell him that a witch has kidnapped Santa? This is the same witch who was Krampus's girlfriend long ago. Krampus mentioned that Santa is not here at the moment, but instead, the witch came by and gave me a magical snow globe many years ago. You can enclose anything in this globe as a gift. She came back to take that globe. Hearing this, Callum understands that the witch wants to trap people in that globe as a punishment. After that, he starts to leave, but orders to put Campus Karam in jail. He tells Jake to leave, but Jake doesn't go anywhere. He wanted to save the Karam game, so he makes a strategic move and starts provoking the entire campus. He also suggests that perhaps you and Callum should challenge each other in a slapboxing game. What do you think about that? If you win, we both will become your prisoners, but if we win, you will agree to let us go free. Jake provokes him a lot, so Krampus agrees. First, Krampus hits Callum hard under the ear, making him feel dazed and disoriented. Then, just as Callum is about to slap Krampus, Jake activates a device that is attached to Callum's hand, causing Callum to slap Krampus with an oversized hand. He slaps him and he falls right there. After this, Alam also revives his robot, causing a commotion there. After this, they escape and return through the doorway. In the human world, what is the situation now that Jackie starts respecting him because he saved his life today? But unknowingly, during the conversation, Jackie mentions the witch's name and asks what her plan is. But because he mentioned her name, the witch hears their conversation and realizes that they know everything. Anyway, they're driving away in a car. No matter which path they take, a piano with a Christmas gift appears in front of them. They see that it was the same snow globe that Mitch had placed there. So, they decide to run away without touching the gift. But then, the villain's core arrives, who scolds Jack harshly. He says that the gift you gave me is absolutely rubbish. Hearing this, Jack asks him which gift. Then he shows Jack the gift on the phone. The witch had sent him the same globe, and as soon as Dylan touches it, he mysteriously disappears to somewhere unknown. Seeing this, Jack picks up the globe in front of him to save his son and disappears. Finally, we find out that whoever touches that globe gets trapped inside it. Here, the witch had made many globes with the help of Santa's power and was going to deliver these gifts to everyone's homes instead of Santa. This means that the next day, whoever opened these gifts would be trapped in that snow globe. On the other hand, Callum is calling Joe to tell him about the globe, but the ability to duplicate so many globes from just one was a power that existed only in one place on Earth. That power belonged uniquely to Santa. Then, Callum realizes that Santa never disappeared from his city, but it was a pretense of kidnapping Santa so that Callum would leave the city. Santa was still there, and she was diligently working there, and all the people present there were merely impostors. He immediately calls Santa's wife. She says that she is waiting for Santa and is making besan laddus for him so that she can feed him as soon as he arrives. Hearing this, Alam realizes that this is an impostor and the witch is many people because Santa doesn't even like besan laddus, but he doesn't say anything. After that, he, along with Joe, goes through a toy shop and returns to Santa's city. There, Jack realizes his mistake and apologizes to his son. I will show that I can be a good father. As she says this, they both become free from the globe because Jack had now become a good person, and even the situation reaches a new level. Then they manage to free their security team and proceed to go up to the witch's tower in order to stop her. Before the witch could capture Santa and distribute all the snow globes to everyone, they arrive just in time to stop her. After a lot of struggle and effort, Jack and Callum finally manage to halt the witch's ride. But now the witch, in anger, reveals her true form, which is quite large. She's about to kill both of them when Krampus arrives and saves them. But the witch Krampus also breaks bones. By then, Santa wakes up and calls his team to trap the witch in the same globe. He draws energy from the globe, weakening it. After that, Krampus meets his brother Santa, wishes him Merry Christmas, and leaves. Then Santa meets everyone and thanks them for saving him. After that, Santa, Jack, Dylan, and Callum distribute gifts all over the world, and in this way, they save Christmas. Well, with this beautiful ending, our story comes to an end here. So friends, how did you like this story? Do let us know in the comments. For now, that's all we have for today's video, but rest assured, we will definitely meet again with another new and interesting story in the near future. But as always, thank you so much for now.